This weekend, Virginia International Raceway and the Sports Car Club of America combined to form a mecca for lovers of sports car racing. Almost 500 drivers in over 20 classes will do battle in a race for the gold. Since 1964, SCCA has been crowning national champions at its annual runoffs, the peak of the Summit Racing Equipment SCCA road racing program. For the second straight year, welcome to the track that Paul Newman once called heaven on earth, for the historic 60th running of the SCCA Runoffs. What a difference a year makes here at Virginia International Raceway. Hi, I'm John Phippen, Larry McLeod alongside me. As last year we raced in a hurricane, but no such problems here. We've got beautiful, partly cloudy skies, but the forecast for the rest of the weekend is great. And this is a wonderful racetrack. For the second year in a row and the third time in about 4 years, we're here at VIR. As we're going to introduce the third member of our broadcast team, and he's the guy roaming down trackside. It's Hayward Wagner. Good morning, Hayward.
Morning, guys. It is a nice, cool morning here on the grid. Clouds in the sky. They're about to put the 3-minute board up, I believe. When we look at this grid and we see wings and formula cars, we always assume that these cars are really specialized, unique cars. We sometimes forget that this is actually spec racing. These cars are all identical. Same engine, same tire, same shock packages. Everything's the same. What really only biggest difference in the car is color schemes. And what you're going to notice in our pole sitter is this is a very clean car. This is not a corporate effort. This is just a privateer, Charles Turner, on the pole. He's a Virginia guy. He's local. He knows this track very, very well. And then right beside him, if you are a SCCA long-timer, if you've been around this for a while, those colors and Black Swan conjure up some pretty strong memories of Formula Atlantics in the 80s and 90s back in the Road Atlanta days. That's Frank Futrelle. He's out of the Atlanta area, out of Georgia. So we got a couple of veterans here at the front of the field and a whole bunch of kids behind them wanting to take a national championship.
You're absolutely right. A big 26-car field as we are looking forward to this one. These Formula Enterprises 2 cars, a second-generation Formula Enterprise 2. Basically, it's the same Van Diemen chassis. Lefty McLeod, a 5-time solo champion. His Eminence is back with me.
Thank you.
Larry, great to see you again. We've got the track map. Take us around, if you would.
Yeah, down in Sector 1, they go dive-bombing downhill into that Turn 1, kind of a hairpin-like turn. Run back up towards paddock through the famous NASCAR bend, Turn 3. They'll run down into kind of a funnel of Turn 4, left hook. That'll get them started around through the snake or the lower S's. Under the bridge, they'll go start climbing through the climbing S's, and it's a lot of uphill, 7, 8, 9. And then they come around to the famous and treacherous Turn 10, South Bend. Come around that, and then we'll get to probably the most critical corner on the course for Fast Lap, Turn 12, the Oak Tree, or Sands Oak Tree, still the Oak Tree Bend. That'll get them onto Madison Avenue and all the way down that long uphill back straight, where they get to the top of that roller coaster and down 14, 15, 16, and finally around Turn 17, Hog Pen, onto that front straight that goes up and back down again.
It's a front straight, sort of. It actually curves a little bit to the right, but nonetheless, that's a lap around the 3.7 miles here at Virginia International Raceway. What a beautiful facility. You see lots of fans here this weekend. Always great to have the folks here at the runoffs, no matter where they're held. And we're headed off to Road America for the next couple of years. So looking forward to heading back up into northern Wisconsin for that as well. So thanks to all of you who've taken the time out of your weekend to come and watch us here at the runoffs as these drivers just about ready to roll off on their formation lap. And then we'll introduce the 26-car starting grid. As you see, our pole sitter, Charles Russell Turner, out of Montpelier, Virginia, in the Washington, D.C. region. He was the pole sitter here a year ago, and looking forward to repeating a good performance here at the runoffs for 2023. As you can see, folks overlooking, is that where you're staying, Larry?
I wish. I'm not staying in those. Those are the villas. Beautiful place to stay. I've been to get into one of those a couple of years. Very neat that they're trackside there looking at the uphill S's. I might be lucky enough to be staying at the Lodge, which, of course, overlooks the Snake. Equally beautiful place to stay. This whole track, this facility is just awesome.
Absolutely. Let's introduce the starting grid for you. Starting in row 13 on the outside, Car 51 is Mark Sturm out of Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, and the Buccaneer region. Next to him, the 43 of Craig Haltom out of Blounteville, Tennessee, in the Eastern Tennessee region. In his 17th runoff start, car 67, Jonathan Weisheidt out of Baltimore in the D.C. region. Next to him is car 28, that's James Brookshire out of Saluda, North Carolina, and the Central Carolina region. In row 11, the 38 of Alistair McEwen from Miami and the Northern Carolina region, and another driver in his 17th runoff start, car 45, Tom Burt from Woodway, Washington, and the Northwest region. In row 10, car 0 is James Reagan out of Longmeadow, Massachusetts in the New England region, and the 88 of Thomas Green out of Sorrento, Florida in the Central Florida region. In row 9, the 27 of Dean Opperman from Manuka, Illinois in the Chicago region, and another 17 runoff start for the 19 of Todd Vanacore out of Ormond Beach, Florida and the Central Florida region. In row 8, car 86 is Eric Cruz from Williamsburg, Virginia in the North Carolina region. The 18 is Steve Whitson from Georgetown, Texas, racing out of the Milwaukee region. The rookie making his first start in runoffs competition this year, the 56 of Matthew Romer from Lake Havasu City, Arizona, and the Cal Club. Next to him is the 145 of Brian Yates from Kemmersville, North Carolina, and the North Carolina region. In row 6 is car 33, Sam Harrington from Vicksburg, Maryland, and the D.C. region, and the 29 of Kelton Jago from Midland, Michigan, and the D.C. region. In row 5, car 22 is John Yeatman from Cave Creek, Arizona, in the San Francisco region, and the 47 of Darrell Wills from League City, Texas, in the Houston region. A 3-time champion, Darrell really made his bones in Formula Mazda. Moving up to row 4, car 5, Bailey Manette from the Milton, Georgia, and the Atlanta region, the defending winner of this race, and another rookie next to him, the highest placed rookie in the field, the 89 of Jameson Huffman from Herndon, Virginia, and the D.C. region. In row 3, the 73 of Paul Schneider from Charlotte, North Carolina, the Central Carolina region, and the 11 of Justin Huffman from Hampton, Virginia, and the D.C. region. In row 4, car 471, Adam Jennerjohn from that famous family from Valencia, California. He races out of the Indianapolis region. The 99 is Caleb Schrader, one of 2 drivers eligible for the Super Sweep here, out of Tigard, Oregon, and the Oregon region. Now for your front row, we talked about him on the grid, the 97 of Franklin Futrelle out of Augusta, Georgia. He is a 2-time national champion, most recently in SRF 3 in 2022, a year ago. And your pole sitter, the number 32, Charles Russell Turner out of Montpelier, Virginia for the D.C. region. He was the 22 pole sitter, but didn't quite get home at the top of the order. Those top 3 drivers, Turner, Futrelle, and Schrader, picked by Sports Car to finish on the podium. I wouldn't bet against them.
I would definitely not, but I'm going to keep an eye on Bailey Monette, had a defending champion in a wild, wet race last year.
Yep.
I've never seen somebody. We've seen a couple of first-time winners here this year. Last year, with Bailey getting his first, was crazy to watch. Fist pumping as he was coming around. There was a finish under a yellow safety car, but I want to see how he can do today. This is the first time this week that he's back in an FE2 since that win last year. He's been off driving other things. Great to see him back, and he, starting on the 4th row, could be a part of this. Got a couple other veterans in there. It's going to be interesting. But at the front, Russ Turner, Frankie Futrelle, they are good buddies. They race each other in spec Fords all the time, always at the front. And here they are starting on the front row. This could be good.
Yeah, exactly right. You saw the pace car out front. We'd like to thank Sport Durst Mazda in Durham, North Carolina for providing the Mazda safety cars for us here this weekend as the field formed up 2 by 2 coming down into Hogpen as that safety car will peel off into the pit lane. The starter will have a look now as we'll watch Russell Turner and Franklin Futrelle moving their way toward the starter's stand. They're approaching the acceleration zone. That's up to the pole sitter as to when he accelerates. Once he or she gets to that acceleration zone, you can see the flag there off to driver's right. The starter has looking him over, and we've got the green. We are away for 15 laps or 40 minutes, whichever comes first. A great jump from Russell Turner as he's got the lead, but here comes Franklin Futrelle down to the inside, and he's going to try to take that lead as they go through turn number 1. The rest of the field making it through, a little brake lock up deeper in the pack, but the lead 2 still side by side as Franklin Futrelle trying to hang on to that position as they come into NASCAR, a long sweeping left-hander, and then down into the left hook. Futrelle's going to try to stuff it down inside of the left hook. He is still there. Lefty, great racing here. Our pole sitter goes off, as he goes a little wide, and he's going to get passed by the third and fourth place runners, as well as Caleb Schrader and Justin Huffman working their way up into the top 3. And a spin coming into the snake for the first time, as we've got a car going, several cars going around. The 29 among them, we've got some contact and damaged suspension. This is surely going to bring out a full course yellow. We've got about half the field involved in this incident here on the first lap.
Oh, I'm looking at one of them right in the middle on the track still. That's a 73 of Paul Schneider, one of the veterans. I just spent about a half an hour talking to him. He was hoping to just get a good, clean start and see how this race went. I do suspect we're going to be seeing a full course here in a second. But at the front, it got exciting. Everybody's going to take a deep breath, and we're going to see how this thing shakes out in a couple laps.
Adam Derjan got up into second spot, as we're going to see a replay here. And our leader, Russell Turner, got off and was trying to catch it back up. And then they worked their ways through side by side. They're clean there, but then deeper in the back, there's the car that set it all off, Jamison Huffman, as he spun. And that just set off a chain reaction with cars going helter-skelter here right through the end of the snake. Yeah,
Jamison in his first runoff start alongside Paul Schneider in about his, I want to say about his 14th start in this class. And unfortunately for Jamison, now his father Justin's in this field, started 5th. Probably didn't quite realize, I'm sure on the radio they're telling him now that, Jamison was involved. And it's unfortunate for that young man. He was looking forward to having a good start. Wasn't happy with his qualifying times, but unfortunately not sure he's going to be able to continue here. But let's see as the field gathers up. That was a bit of chaos there at the beginning. And a lot of that may have been triggered with the off of Russ Turner, the pole sitter, maybe just getting in that dirt. Everyone else sort of checked up, and it got a little bit hairy behind.
Exactly right. So that may have started off the chain reaction. But the safety car has finally caught up with our leader, Franklin Futrelle. So he will lead the first lap. And, Russ Turner didn't get hurt too badly. He came back in third spot. As we'll get the field order as they come by, as it obviously has been shuffled a bit, as a whole bunch of drivers from the mid-pack involved in that incident there at the snake.
Yep. Well, Adam Jennerjohn may have benefited through some of that. Obviously, with Russ having the issues, Adam was able to jump up. Started here 4th. He's up into that 2nd spot. So great move for him. But Bailey Monette, I mentioned, he gets through the fray. He's in 5th. And then Justin Huffman, the father of Jamison Huffman, who is involved in it. Justin right now in 6th. So those are the guys. Kind of look at some veterans there. Bailey, Justin Huffman. That could be an interesting group trying to push to the front.
And you see that blue car, the 32 of our pole sitter. That's our tire rack pole sitter. Tire rack, of course, gives a $500 gift certificate as well as some other swag to the pole sitter of each of our 26 classes here this weekend. Actually, it's only 24 for this weekend, as we've got a couple classes that did not meet the minimum requirements. And we understand that we are going to go black flag all, and these cars are coming into the pit lane because this cleanup is going to take a while.
Yeah, you've got cars on both sides of the track, and that's just tough for the emergency services to clear. But, man, look at some of those cars. You've got the 89, of course, on one side of the track that we can see there. That is the car of Jamison, who we may have been sort of in the initial triggering of that. I can't quite make out all the other numbers. I suspect you've got, we knew Paul Schneider's in that group there.
We can pretty much figure it out by process of elimination. The cars that did not come by start-finish, but here's a replay of the start, and a great start for Franklin Futrelle as he dives right down the inside of our pole sitter and is able to stay side by side, and they stay side by side through much of the first part of this lap into NASCAR, and it looked like Russell Turner was going to be able to hang on, but then Futrelle stuffs it back down inside. May have caught Russ Turner just a bit by surprise as he had to check up a little bit, unwind his hands just a bit, and that put him wide. That allowed the 71 of Adam Jennerjohn to get by. Now we come through the snake, and there is the rookie, the 89 car, making his attempt to move up through the order, but he dropped a wheel off on driver's left and just could not catch it, and then everybody else was just along for the ride.
Yeah, I saw in there the 29 of Kelton Jago is one of those cars. He's out of Midland. He was one of the ones that was spinning there as well. So, yeah, a couple of cars are going to find themselves out of this race early. Keep your eye. The other one is Caleb Schrader, that young man. I think he's all about 19 out there. He's done some karting. He's done this. He's done a couple other classes. So interesting to see him now up into 3rd. He could be a bit of a
So the field stacked up behind the safety car, and again, we understand that we're going to pull these cars into the pit lane while the cleanup continues there at the SS. Here are the cars that were involved in that incident. Paul Schrader in the number 73 is one of them. He started in 6th spot. Then Jamison Huffman in the number 89. He was the rookie who really set that whole thing off. He started 7th. Kelton Jago in the 29 started 11th. He was involved as well, as was Matthew Romer in the 56, another rookie making his first runoff start. So an inauspicious beginning for those two drivers. Just behind him, Eric Cruz in the number 86. He started 16th. Todd Vanacore, the veteran, in his 17th runoff start, got caught up in somebody else's issue, unfortunately. And Todd, who started back in 17th position, is involved. Dean Opperman in the 27, also caught up in that, as was Alistair McEwen in the 38. He started 22nd. And finally, Jonathan Weisheit in the number 67. So we had 3 drivers in the field. We had 3 drivers in the event that are making their 17th runoff start, and 2 of the 3 unfortunately didn't make it.
Well, with Vanacore, we'll get to see him later in this weekend. He'll be running at P1. He'll be starting on pole in P1. So Vanacore have an opportunity for redemption for him. For Matt Romer, well, it's going to be his father, Chip Romer, who's going to be in that P1 field right up against Todd later on. I just talked to Matt Romer and to Chip before this race. Did not have the week that they wanted. The action car, that car went in and had some damage earlier in the week. They got it repaired. He was hoping to just get a good, clean race. Clearly he didn't, so a little disappointing there for Matt Romer in his first outing on this. Now he can turn around and root for Dad Chip in the P1 race later today.
Justin Huffman was the Hawk breakthrough performer for picking up the most spots in qualifying between Tuesday and Wednesday. And so that was about, he made up 7 positions actually. So that's a pretty good jump between Tuesday and Wednesday. And he gets a set of Hawk brake pads for winning the Hawk breakthrough performer. So congratulations to Justin. We're going to take a quick break here for an opportunity to thank some of the sponsors that make the racing possible here.
A car like this shouldn't exist. Something this big, this luxurious, shouldn't move like a Mazda. And yet, it does.
Oh my God, it sounds epic as well. This car is an SUV with bragging rights.
The all-new 3-row Mazda CX-90.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, on the way home after a day at the track. And say you have an accident. Ouch! But at least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Your standard insurance probably won't pay to replace your car. That's true whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or in the repair shop. If you want to be covered for the whole value of your race car, you need guaranteed value coverage from Hagerty. We agree on an accurate value up front, and in event of a covered total loss anywhere off the track, we pay that amount. You'll be protected in storage, in transit, in the paddock, or a repair shop against collision, fire, theft, no matter what or where you race. All for less per year than you spend on a set of racing tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
Welcome back to the Formula Enterprises 2 race here, the 3rd race of the weekend for the SCCA Runoffs, celebrating its 60th running here at Virginia International Raceway. But we had an eventful start to this race. On the very first lap, we had a multiple car incident right at the beginning of the Snake, which is the lower S's here at the racetrack. And so we've got a bit of a cleanup as we've got a number of cars that were not able to continue. And we've brought all the cars into the pit lane in a black flag all situation. So we're going to step away for just a few minutes while that cleanup continues, and we'll be back with you with the rest of this race. We're only 1 lap into it. Looking forward to the rest coming up in just a few minutes' time. So bear with us. We'll be back with you just as soon as we get racing back underway. So we're back. The track cleanup is just about concluded. Less than 3 minutes, we understand, before the restart. It'll be a flying restart, of course. The safety car will bring the field around, and then we'll get a single file restart as the clock continues to run. These are time-limited races to 40 minutes, and we're halfway home. So these two who were involved in that incident are going to be able to catch up to the back of the field. They will be a lap down, I'm guessing. So two of the 8 cars that were involved in the incident will be able to, Alistair McEwen and Paul Schneider are the two who will be able to catch up to the back of the pack. But I believe they're still going to be scored on the lead lap. So yeah, they'll be good.
Yep. All right, let's see what Hayward's got to say.
Hayward, go ahead.
Hayward.
Guys, down on pit lane, we're about a minute away from rolling off. 2 stories. You touched on one. I just want to go back to the 2 cars that came in first. The second was Paul Schneider. They've been released and will come around of their own accord, catch the back of the field on the pace lap, putting them back on the lead lap. There was also a pass under yellow between the 4, 3, and 0. Those cars are reverting back to their original positions, so they'll be in the correct order. The ones to watch are the guys from the front row, Charles Turner and Frank Futrelle. They got together in 4 on the first lap. Not a lot of love lost in that moment, so keep an eye on those guys. Emotions are running pretty high.
Yeah, interesting, because I know those guys do get along pretty well. In fact, they were joking around about an hour ago back in the paddock. This may have tensed things up a little bit. Remember, they'll see each other again tomorrow in a Spec Ford race,
right,
where they're both going to be starting in the front 2 rows there as well. So a lot of familiarity between them, and sometimes that can be a little bit too much. Let's see if they've each had a chance to cool off under this black flag condition and let the cooler heads prevail as they head back out. And, of course, they're going to be separated by a couple of cars. They're not going to be 1-2. They've got Jennerjohn and Schrader in between them.
Exactly. And Caleb Schrader, we were talking a little bit about him while we were in the break. Caleb Schrader, a youngster who's really showing some great pace here and has been really strong throughout the whole Hoosier Super Tour.
Another one that also runs Spec Ford, apparently also runs ARCA NASCARs earlier this year as well, and some karting, and that young man can wheel a whole lot of different things, so he could definitely be a strong one in the mix with Russ Turner, Franklin Futrelle, who are a little bit more seasoned veterans than him. And then, of course, you throw in Jennerjohn and then Bailey right behind him. You get the veteran of Justin Huffman back there in the front 6. This could be a very interesting restart. We'll see who gets enough heat in the tires to be able to get that run down into 1 and make it stick on that first try.
Yeah, absolutely right. Talk a little bit about these cars. These are Van Diemen chassis, and back in 2018, 2019, the new Formula Prices 2 package came out with the Mazda MZR and the SADEV transmission.
Yeah, they've gone through a couple of generations of transmissions over the years. They upgraded to the SADEVs there. I think it was in 2017, might have been the first year for that. And then they've gone from the original configuration of the FE1s, if you want to call them that, was a 2.3 liter. These 2.0 MZRs, bulletproof motors, knock on wood. The transmissions are also very durable, and these chassis are pretty solid, straightforward. And so it's a great, and you got some rental, some shops that prep, you can get in and you can rent your ride because they are so spec. And a lot of times those shops like Alliance and the others do both the Spec Fords and the FE2s, which is part of why you see a lot of crossover between them, but it's a great package.
We mentioned it earlier, but we'd like to hit it again. Justin Hoffman was the winner of the Hawk Breakthrough Performer. He picked up 7 spots between Tuesday qualifying and Wednesday qualifying. Qualifying 1 and qualifying 2, and for that, he was awarded a set of Hawk brake pads.
And as I mentioned, he's the father of Jamison Huffman, who's unfortunately not in the race anymore. And Jamison had started this race, so you had the 2 Huffmans were up there. Jamison started in 7th, Justin was in 5th. So fast family right there. Great to see Justin still in this right now. We're going to be on the restart here in 6th.
So you can see the order rolling by, and of course the pylon in the upper left-hand corner gives you the top 5, as Adam Jennerjohn and Caleb Schrader got in between Franklin Futrelle and Charles Russell Turner after that little side-by-side action coming into the left hook, or out of the left hook, I should say.
The other thing to think about now is that the clock keeps running during Black Flag, so we're only 16 minutes, and you can see the clock counting on there. We're probably going to end up being more time-based than laps-based by the time we get down to this. So what that means is you're going to, and I see a loose front wing on one of the cars back in the field, but what that time means is that it's being more of a traditional sprint. If your car takes a minute to kind of heat up and get in the pace, you may be at a disadvantage. That front group is going to want to just go like qualifying right now.
Lights are out on the Mazda safety car as the field weaving back and forth And Franklin Futrelle is going to bring the field around for the restart as we will be completing race lap number 3 this time by. But the lap count no longer counts. We've got 15 and a half minutes before the checkered flag flies as the field nicely formed up. And again, Futrelle can choose to accelerate anytime he passes the acceleration flag, which is off to his right. And there it is. He can accelerate anytime, and he has dropped the hammer. But no one could pop out until the green flag is displayed. It has been, and we are away. And Russell Turner already trying to make up for lost ground as he's side by side with Caleb Schrader.
Russ wanted that outside line, the traditional line, and there's the car that had the loose wing. You can see it right there. That is the 28, which also had some of that contact on that opening lap. But that's James Brookshire having a little bit of trouble. But yes, great run there for Russ Turner. He strategically took the outside, great launch. Didn't pass before the start-finish stripe, but managed to get up into that spot there. I think he's up into second now already.
As they're working their way through the snake and now into the climbing S's, every driver's favorite part of this racetrack as they come under the bridge just past our commentary position and then work their way up the climbing S's. And again, South Bend, the very tricky, as Greg Kramer calls it, the commitment corner here. You really got to hitch up your pants when you get to that one. As the 2 leaders now coming into it, and Russell Turner has made up all the ground he's lost, and now it's payback time, I think, as he was a little hot under the collar, feeling that Franklin Futrelle did not give him enough racing room there on the first lap. So now he is in the position to perhaps repay that favor as they are nose to tail, and he pops out to driver's left.
No more nose to tail. Now it's side to side. We'll see if this has got a good enough run. Look at how that draft gives a good launch there for Russ Turner. He does that in spec forwards. He's so good at following through the exit of Oak Tree, and here he is able to take the lead. Now we'll see if Franklin can come back in the pink polka dots and make a run down the front straight. These two can do this. I told you this is going to be more of a sprint than a long run now with only about 13 minutes left.
As is so often the case, coming down the roller coaster, TV does not do that turn justice. It is steeply downhill as they come off Madison Avenue, that long back straightaway. But right now, Russell Turner, the pole sitter, is able to gap Franklin Futrelle by just a bit. It's about half a second at the line, but let's see if Futrelle can close back in under the brakes. A little bit of a lockup, side-by-side racing between Caleb Schrader and Adam Jennerjohn for third spot. Jennerjohn still with that position right now, but he's a little tail happy as he comes through turn number 1 down into NASCAR, this long sweeping left-hander. So that's a good battle for third and fourth position.
Yeah, that'll be a battle for that bronze. But they got to be careful because they've got Bailey Monette, who every single lap he turns is going to be getting faster because he didn't get any laps since the last time we were here a year ago. So you watch, if those two for third and fourth start to battle, you're going to have that light blue and white car, Bailey Monette, and he's right there going under the bridge. And then behind him, of course, you got Justin Huffman. The other one I'll be watching is Paul Schneider. Look at him already up to 8th. He was one of those cars that was stopped on the side of the track, was given the opportunity to catch in the back of the field. He's a veteran. He's been in this class for almost 14 years. He was in it when it was FE. Now he's still in it, upgraded the car to the FE2 standards. He's been up and around that podium for a long time. Keep your eye on that, guys. You watch him moving through the field.
He's been a top 10 finisher 11 times in his previous runoffs finishes. That's a pretty good strike rate considering he's been in 13 prior to this year. His best finish was in Formula Enterprises in 2017 at our first visit to Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where he finished on the podium in 3rd position. The lead battle coming up into the top of the hill. Yeah, the car we saw right on the restart, the 28 car with a damaged front wing, that's James Brookshire from the Central Carolinas region in only his 2nd runoff start. And you can see that car right there as the left side of that front wing dragging the ground as he was kicking up some smoke, and he's got some pressure from behind as the 47 of Darrell Wills, the veteran, right behind him.
Yeah, Wills, a 3-time champion Formula Mazda, is back about a decade or so ago. I think he also runs in the Formula V's as well, but he's right now, I think, being held up by Brookshire, who's got that limping front wing. So we'll see if Wills can get on by here at the starter stand.
Yeah, there he goes. He pops out right away. I think realizing that Brookshire may be a bit wounded, that car is going to understeer pretty dramatically without the front wing. And then right behind Wills comes Alistair McEwen, and he's going to try to make that pass as well as McEwen falls in single file. This battle is for 14th, 15th, and 16th as McEwen ducks down to the inside. In fact, Brookshire gave him a point, I think, realizing that he's a little wounded, but he's going to fight as hard as he can. We turn our attention back to the battle for the final step on the podium with Adam Jennerjohn still leading Caleb Schrader as they work their way into the climbing S's and now into South Bend.
Yeah, watch for Schrader here. Start to calculate his move and see if he can start to make a move on Jennerjohn. Again, he drives a lot of different things. And that experience comes into play in this, where you've got a race that kind of gets interrupted, gets kind of out of that typical rhythm. And I think having the experience of whether it's the ARCA experience or whether it's just karting or all those things start to come into play, because you've seen scenarios and you can quickly think, how do I optimize on this one? But keep your eye on Bailey Monette. I'm telling you, he's right there behind him. And now, of course, he's got Justin Huffman ready to pop out here going down Madison Avenue. Those two are going to stay in line because they're both seeing opportunity for podium, seeing the battle of the two white cars right in front of them. But keep your eye on Monette. This is not the same car he was in a year ago. It's traditional number 5 for him, but there's a different car that he's in, and still just kind of getting his legs under him. With about 9 minutes to go, he could still be making a push for a podium.
Yeah, on the last lap, he was about a half a second quicker than both Schrader and Jennerjohn. Not quite able to match the pace of our two leaders who are lapping in the 152s. In fact, Russell Turner just clicked off a 51.8, so he's the first driver to dip under 152 in this race.
He's not just the first to do it in this race, he's the first ever to do it in an FE2. The track record in a race was 2019. Liam Snyder turned a 52.1. Russ Turner's 51.8 is now a new track record in FE2.
And he set a track record in qualifying as well, as that 150.665 was the fastest qualifying lap in FE2. So clearly he has got the pace. He is one of two drivers, we mentioned it earlier, who is eligible for the Super Sweep. Super Sweep is the toughest award that a road racer can win. In the same class, the driver must win one of the Hoosier Super Tour races. He must win the Super Tour National Points Championship. He must win a U.S. Majors Tour Conference Championship, and he has to win the runoffs. And Caleb Schrader and Russell Turner are basically in a win scenario. If either of them wins, they take the Super Sweep. And right now, Russell Turner's in a position to do it, but don't count out Caleb Schrader. He's not done yet. Right there on the back of Adam Jennerjohn as we're watching that battle for the final step on the podium.
Yes, and Caleb definitely is just kind of taking it in, collecting all of his data, looking for where is he faster than Jennerjohn in front of him. And right now he's quicker, of course, with the draft down the back straight. He's going to pop out. This becomes the outside. Does he have enough of a run? They're going to go under brake, and Jennerjohn able to maybe outbrake him just enough to hold the position. Schrader tucks in behind.
Jennerjohn, one of those drivers with the Alliance prep shop that you already mentioned. You can see the Alliance logo on the side of his car as he works his way through. The Alliance folks in my neck of the woods down near Mid-Ohio, which is my home track. But this is a great battle for third spot as Russell Turner, as he comes by the line, has opened up the lead to just about half a second. Russ
Turner does a much faster new track record of 51.5, but about, half a second behind him. Franklin Futrelle resets the track record at a 51.4. Shows you the pace. These guys are 2 seconds faster than anyone in the field. And Bailey Monette spins behind, coming out of 2.
Yeah, coming out of the horseshoe there, turn number 1. And this battle for third now goes the way of Caleb Schrader, as he was able to get it done around the outside of turn 1. And it looked like the 71 of Jennerjohn was going to try to take it back. Here comes Bailey Monette. He was able to get back on the racetrack, but he's lost a bunch of ground. So any chance of a repeat, I think, is pretty much by the wayside. But now let's see if Caleb Schrader can get some legs on Adam Jennerjohn and extend that margin and solidify that hold on third spot.
Yeah, he made that stick going around 1 and then got good defensive coming off of NASCAR toward left hook, was able to hold the position. Jennerjohn, now it's his turn to settle in and start to collect some data as the trailing car. 6 minutes to go, probably around 4 laps, something like that, as these guys are all running sub 2 minutes. But in 4 laps, you got a lot of time to collect a lot of data. And these two guys have to kind of watch their mirrors, because again, the more they battle, the closer Justin Huffman in that number 11 can get to them. As our leaders, look at these guys are trading fastest sectors. We're probably again going to see a quickest lap of this race between Russ Turner and Franklin Futrelle, as they are right now each setting quickest sectors of this race. And I tell you, Franklin looks closer than he had been the last 2 times by the stripe.
Yeah, he sure does, as they're working their way out of Hogpen and onto the front straightaway. The time is down to just under 6 minutes. And once again, the draft, very important here. These cars are absolutely equal. This is a spec class, everybody running the same chassis. Obviously, you can tune the chassis to fit the driver, and that's where the prep shops earn their money. But the engines and the chassis are all identical with these cars, so the draft is so important.
How important is it? Well, if you're Frank Futrelle, following in the draft of a Russ Turner, you can do another new track record at a 51-0. These guys are down near qualifying pace. You think about a 51-0, if this were qualifying, I'm trying to find where the qualifying sheet went. I've lost my place.
That would have been good for a second.
Yes. So they're in race trim, putting down times that would have put them on the front row for the race. This is just astounding what they're doing with that battle going on for the lead of this thing, in addition to the battle of Caleb Schrader and Adam Jennerjohn going behind.
The only other driver in the 51s is Paul Schneider, who's now in 6th spot in that 73 machine. We talked about him making a great recovery after the stoppage. So Paul Schneider also showing some great pace, and he's only half a second behind Justin Huffman. We might have a change for the top 5, but
he is right there with Huffman, because he knows Huffman's there, and only a second or so in front of him is going to be Schrader, Jennerjohn. So now you got Schrader, Jennerjohn, Huffman, Schneider all in a row, in addition to this battle we see here of Russ Turner and Franklin Futrelle. Look at that.
Yeah, we can see 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 as we've got three really great battles in the top 6 here. As it looks like Caleb Schrader now getting some legs on Adam Jennerjohn, opening up maybe a 5-car length advantage, but then the battle behind that we talked about, that's Justin Hoffman in the blue, number 11, and just behind him, the 73 of the orange and blue of Paul Schneider, as they work their way down the hill through the roller coaster, now into Hog Pen.
A couple battles further back in the field are no less exciting here. Of course, that's the 33 of Sam Harrington. And right behind him, Darrell Wills. Again, Darrell experienced in Formula Mazda, experienced in, and that's the 28. Off to the side of the track of James Brookshire. We figured that loose front wing might become an issue, and it looks like it is.
And that's up at Oak Tree, it looks
is,
like. Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting then for our lead pair. If they're local yellow, or are we going to go... If they're local yellow, it's going to slow them down, but that may be an advantage for Futrelle once they come through, because perhaps he can get a good run. Let's see how this goes.
Looks like full course yellow is going to come out, and that's how this one's going to finish, as we've only got 3 minutes left. So Russell Turner will be celebrating inside that helmet when he sees these double yellows, as he realizes that will seal the win if he could just keep it together here for this final lap and a half.
All right, so wow, what a great race though while it was on. The battle these two put on, the battle that Schrader and Jennerjohn, Paul Schneider's recovery drive, right now sitting in that 6th spot, as Russ Turner doing just a little bit of tire scrubbing. I don't think he's trying to keep heat in there. There may be a little bit of happiness and joy going on inside of that little blue car for Russ Turner. For Adam Jennerjohn, that number 71, that car may look familiar. I believe that is Scott Reddick's former car.
Yep.
Scott, dominant in this class for a better part of a decade, 7 wins, was the heart and soul of that team.
Yep.
But his car still continues to race on here in the hands of Adam Jennerjohn.
Yeah, we missed Scott. We lost him very unexpectedly a little over a year ago, and it's he did put his stamp on this race for a number of years, and in Spec Racer as well. So, and Alliance was his company, and Scott, we miss you, buddy, but your legacy certainly carries on here. So the field packing up behind the safety car, but unfortunately with only 1 minute and 56 seconds left, they'll have to go around one more time, and then we should see the checkered flag. Paul Schneider, after the incident, took the restart in 19th position and has worked his way up to 6th. I think he's a shoe-in for the Sunoco Hard Charger.
It would be, except he started about where he's going to finish. We don't get to account
I guess
that
it doesn't matter.
Far. But certainly, it'd be great to throw his name in the mix there. At a great recovery run for him. Caleb Schrader's, we've got it on the camera there, a great drive for him as well. He's going to end up, looks like, up on that podium for that young man. That should be a lot of fun for him and his family as well.
Yeah, his best finish so far was here a year ago in this race, where he finished 4th, he's had 2 top 5 finishes in the course of his brief runoffs career. This is his 5th runoffs, as Caleb Schrader will finish on the box with Adam Jennerjohn right behind him.
For Paul Schneider, looks like he's going to finish in that 5th spot after that great recovery. He's got to just be telling himself, man, how many times I got to do this, right? He's been out here. This is his 14th start. He's had a couple of podiums, and he's always hovering in that 3rd, 4th, 5th spot every single year.
Yep.
Here's another one where he's going to get another top 5. This should be his 7th top 5 in 14 starts. Just consistent year after year. And what could have been if he hadn't been down there spinning around in the opening lap. Might be talking about him potentially on a podium this year. So great drive for him.
He's had 3 medals. As we mentioned, all of them 3rd place, 3 bronze medals in his now 14 starts here in the runoffs. So, but hey, there's always next year.
Yep. We had Tom Burt there on the screen a few moments ago in that number 45. He's in his 17th start. So really great to see all these veterans still sticking. That's the great thing about this class. You got veterans that have been here in their 14th, 15th, 17th starts, and then you get the rookies that are out there didn't really make it to the finish, but Jameson Huffman and Matthew Romer and a few others that are less than 2 starts in this field. I love that the spectrum that we get to see here in a class like FE2.
Yeah, exactly right. I wouldn't call it an entry-level class, but pretty close to it. But maybe one of the closest things, at least in the open wheel ranks. Formula V might argue with that just a little bit, but as we're talking about wings and slicks, a downforce race car, this is a great way to get started.
Yeah.
And these cars are very economical to race actually as well.
Yep. So for Russ Turner, 11 starts coming into this week. He had 1 3rd place, 1 2nd place, and now he can finish his collection.
Exactly right. Exactly right. As the clock has expired, so the checkered flag will be shown, and safety car will bring him around one last time on the cool down lap. And Russell Turner weaving it back and forth just in case he would get a late restart, but I'm sure the team is on the radio to him, letting him know that that gold medal is just about to be hung around his neck.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a great story for Russ. He's had the 2nds, he's had the 3rds, and now he's finally going to have that gold medal.
It should be a lot of fun, especially considering how this thing started. And Hayward told us about the frustration he was having with the opening lap battle that he and Franklin had. And I'm sure that's all going to be behind him now. But these two get to do it again in Spec Ford later in this weekend. So the rivalry's not over yet between these two, as well as a few others in this field that we're going to be seeing in some other races later on. And that's what I love about the runoffs too. If you're in a couple races, you got to put that behind you. If you finish, even if you win the 1st race or 2nd race, you've got to go out there later in this weekend and refocus. And I think that's kind of fun to watch.
Exactly right. And like you said, we'll see a lot of these drivers in Formula F coming up a little later in the weekend. And Larry and I will have the call on that race as well. So looking forward to it. And, shout out to the editors of Sports Car Magazine. They got it right. The only differences of Caleb and Franklin are reversed according to the way they have them. But the top 3 are just the top 3 that Sports Car picked to finish on the box. But congratulations to Russell Turner, as he is going to see the checkered flag, and for the first time, a gold medalist at the 60th running of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. Checkered flag being shown. Franklin Futrelle takes 2nd place honors. Caleb Schrader takes 3rd place honors. Adam Jenner-John comes across the line in 4th. Paul Schneider, that great recovery drive from 19th at the restart all the way back up to 5th. Justin Huffman will finish in the 6th spot. John Eatman will finish in 7th. Brian Yates in 8th. Darrell Wills, the veteran, a 3-time champion in the now no longer runoffs eligible Formula Mazda class. Those cars still do run, but they run in Formula X, which we're not racing here this year.
Week.
And Sam Harrington rounds out the top 10, so he'll get a 10th place finish in the number 33 car.
Yeah, great bit of racing there. It did turn into a bit of a sprint race. The laps that Russ Turner and Franklin Futrelle put down were qualifying laps for sure while they were out there. Just beautiful driving to see, and it all started in this opening lap.
Yeah, here's the opening lap as Franklin Futrelle right down the inside of Russ Turner. And the rest of the field, you can see them all batched up 2 and 3 wide, working their way out of the horseshoe. And this is where they got a little bit too close as Russ Turner goes wide. 2 cars get by him, but then this is where it gets really ugly. As the 89 car spins right in front of the field, everybody else is dodging, trying to stay out of harm's way, but unfortunately 8 cars involved in that incident, and 6 of them were unable to continue. But then we get the restart. Franklin Futrelle gets a good jump. You can see the 28th car with his problems, James Brookshire. But then this battle where Franklin Futrelle gets the draft, jumps to the outside. Russ Turner is able to hold him off. Futrelle was able to complete that pass at one point, but then this is late yellow again, and it's a Brookshire once again. That front wing caught him up at Oak Tree, off into the tire barrier, and that means we finish this one under the safety car. So nonetheless, 3 winners, Charles Russell Turner, Franklin Futrelle, and Caleb Schrader, all with medals as they're working their way around behind the safety car on the cool down lap. They'll be pulling into the pit lane, and there you can see the recap of the top 10. Turner, Futrelle, and Schrader, then Adam Jennerjohn in 4th spot. Paul Schneider, what a great recovery drive. Into 5th, Justin Huffman coming home in the 6th spot. John Yeatman takes 7th, Brian Yates in 8th, Darrell Wills in 9th, with Sam Harrington rounding out the top 10. Hayward Wagner standing by down in pit lane. He'll have a chance to grab these top 3 finishers and interview them, and we'll get a chance to hear their winners. You can see Franklin Futrelle waving to the crowd on the cool down lap. Franklin's been here before. He's done this race a number of times. Futrelle in the 97 car in his 7th runoff start, and has 2 wins already. His most recent win was here a year ago in Spec Racer Ford 3, and I think we'll see Franklin in that race a little later on.
Yeah, a couple drivers able to repeat their top 10s from a year ago. Sam Harrington, 10th today, was 9th last year. John Yeatman, he was 7th today. He was in the top 10 last year, 8th. So we got some folks able to come back and back that up and get themselves another top 10. So congrats to them.
Exactly right. Safety car brings the field into the pit lane as Hayward awaits down at the Black Flag station where the cars come to a stop. He'll get a chance to interview the top 3, and then Russell Turner will be able to grab that checkered flag and take it around for a celebratory victory lap. Thumbs up being shown to the field. You can see the workers and crew members applauding the field as Russell Turner comes to a stop.
Did we all hear that?
Yeah, you can hear Hayward Wagner down there asking Russ if he feels a little better. He's going to give him just a minute to get the helmet off. But Russ, as we understand, was a little hot under the collars. He felt Franklin didn't quite give him enough racing room there on that initial first lap. But he gets a pat on the helmet from one of his crew members as once he gets the helmet off, we'll send it down to Hayward, and he'll have a chance to get his impressions. I think he's got a smile on his face, as
yes,
he well
he
should. And Hayward, you got him, my friend.
Russ, a bit of an emotional roller coaster on this race. The off at the beginning, the full course caution. How does it feel to bring home a championship?
Well, like I said, the wind definitely takes the sting off of that opening lap there. I was, as you saw, I was not very pleased with Franklin there. I've recovered a little bit from that. Feels really good. I've worked really hard for this, and I'm glad to actually bring it home.
Well, congratulations to you. You get to now take a victory lap. And I don't know if you know it or not, but you and Frank each reset the lap record during that race, dropped it by over a second with you taking it finally.
Oh, that's awesome. So I got a super sweep, the runoffs, conference, the Hoosier, and the track record.
And the track record. Congratulations.
And the 260 GT award. I think I won about everything I can get this weekend on this class.
So we got a very, very happy Russ Turner about to take his victory lap. We're going to grab Frank next. Come on over to this side. A little bit of drama there at the start. What did it look like from your seat?
It looked like a hard battle to me. Russ has been a little quicker than us all week, and I told Kevin at Comprint, my team owner, it was probably going to be a battle to turn 4, and maybe who could ever win the battle to turn 4 could win the race. But obviously that wasn't true. Russ and his guys did a heck of a job all week. Heck of a comeback from Russ. So proud of him. I know he's a little mad probably at me earlier, but he's probably not quite as mad now.
He's having a better day now. Don't know if your crew's told you or not, but you guys 3 times reset the track record during that race. Really? He finally took it, but lowered it by over a second. So incredible drive.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
And Caleb, our 3rd place finisher, you got a pretty good seat for a lot of this show, didn't you?
Oh, I just wanted to watch the whole show. I didn't know if they were going to wreck or not, so I was just in the perfect seat since I was 3rd. But double yellow came out because I know if it would have stayed green, something might have happened. But 3rd place is still really good for the season I've had, and I couldn't thank Bulldog Motorsports for an amazing car for the whole year.
Well, congratulations on the podium here at the Runoffs.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hayward. And, as we mentioned, the Super Sweep, is one of the toughest awards to win in road racing. And Russell Turner taking the Super Sweep, the first Super Sweep eligible driver to take it here at the 60th edition of the Runoffs. But we're going to wrap it up as we've got more racing to come. As you have been with us here, I'm John Phippen, alongside Larry McLeod and Hayward Wagner. Thanks for being with us for the 60th running of the Runoffs. We'll see you down the road.
Mazda's been very supportive of racers within the SCCA and all the other grassroots organizations for many, many years. Really, their support for racing and our type of racing is unmatched from any other manufacturer. They've been a great partner for many, many years.
Mazda, hands down, is the best company to work with for sports car racing. Factory support is second to none. It just feels right. You feel connected.